Hey, what's going on, guys? Major League Shooter here, and this video is about this great shirt that I just bought. It says, "I reserve my right to arm bears," and it has a bear with some firearms. No, I'm just kidding. But this video today is actually going to be a versus video for you guys. It's going to be the 9mm versus the 40 Smith & Wesson versus the 45 ACP, and what my personal opinions are on each and everything like that. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. And with that being said, here goes. So like I said, this is a versus video. It's actually a caliber versus video, the first of its kind on this channel. But basically what this is, again, it's going to be the 9mm versus the 40 versus the 45. These are all great, cartridges, and to be honest, I told myself that I wouldn't make this video because, to be honest, it's a never-ending debate. You are always going to have your 9mm guys, your 40 cal guys, and your 45 guys, and typically the 9mm guys will pretty much say, generally say that velocity and less recoil is more important, while the 45 guys will generally say that the bigger the caliber, the more stopping power it has or energy transferred, making it the better round. And the 40 cal guys generally, for the most part, say that why not get the best of both worlds? It's right in the middle, so you might as well just get the 40 caliber. You have speed, efficiency, and the stopping power, so the 45 guys say. They call it the in-between round, but ultimately I feel like the best round is the one that you can put rounds on target effectively. I know I will probably catch some stuff for that comment, for not choosing sides or anything like that, but I feel like the best way to give you guys accurate information is for me to be honest with you. I'd rather give you guys, a genuine me, for the most part, than to lie to you or purposely choose sides for the purpose of, getting subscribers or some ridiculous like that. But, to be honest, I think any round with proper training, proper usage, can be used effectively, just as effectively as its competitor. Like, for example, the 45 ACP could probably be, in my opinion, just as effective as the 40 or the 9mm, and vice versa. But that's just my personal opinion. With training is what you really need to grasp when it comes to a cartridge. If you're a bigger guy and you can handle a 45, by all means use the 45. There are some downsides, like, for example, magazine capacity. 9mm, for example, in 1911 can only carry 7 rounds. Whereas if you had a 9mm in the same magazine, you'd probably have, like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 more cartridges. And, the 40 probably, compared to the 45, maybe 2 cartridges, something like that. But, that's up for what you want to do. But like I said, if you can put rounds on target effectively, that's ultimately what it means. Well, I mean, what you need to have, basically, or the ability to have, is to be able to put ammunition or bullets on target. So, like, let's say somebody comes and breaks into your house, and you put one 45 into his chest, or you put one 40 into his chest, or one 9mm into his chest. The fact of the matter is, the guy still got shot. It will stop them, whether or not people say, oh no, the 9mm won't do anything. That's to be honest, that's ridiculous statements. Personally, I wouldn't want to get shot with anything. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, that's just me. But for the purpose of this video, since I'm not taking sides or anything like that, I to be honest, I like all of these. As a matter of fact, I love all of these cartridges. I own 9mm, I own 40 calibers, and I own 45s. But anyways, let's start with the 9mm. The 9mm Luger round, this is 115 grain, is a very accurate and reliable cartridge. Generally, a lot of people buy a 9mm for the purpose of plinking or just going out and shoot on a day-to-day basis, for the simple fact that it's very economic. For a box of 50 like this one, well, this is a box of 100, I believe. Yeah, it's a 100-round box, but for a box of 50, you can probably get it for about $17. So it's very economic. Generally it does have reduced barrel fouling and making more range time fun, if you will, with fewer cleanings. So this is a very fast cartridge. The velocity at the muzzle is 1,190 feet per second. At 5 yards, it's 1,176 feet per second, and at 25 yards, it's still pretty fast. It's at 1,125 feet per second. Excuse me. Energy is still pretty well. Does pretty good and stacks up very well against the 40 and the 45. The energy that it's giving off at the muzzle is 362 pounds of energy. And at 5 yards, 353, and at 25 yards, it's a 323. So it's a very, very well made round as well. When it comes to the 40 SNW, it's also very accurate, very reliable, and consistent. Just like the 9mm Luger round, the 40 SNW also has the reduced barrel fouling, so you can actually go out and shoot a pretty good amount. Obviously probably not as much as the 9mm, but you can go out and shoot and have still fewer cleanings. They do call this the best of both worlds because it's smaller and cheaper than the 45, but it's bigger and delivers a little bit more stopping power than the 9mm Luger round. But it's still more expensive, so it's like right in the middle. That's why they call it the best of both worlds. It is a little bit more expensive than the 9mm. It is about $20 for a box of 50, and but it's not significantly more expensive. So I can understand why the 40 cal guys can surely goes with the 40 Smith and Wesson. But velocity at the muzzle is about 1,060 feet per second. At 5 yards, 1,053 feet per second, and 25 yards, 1,029. The energy this transfers is about 412 pounds at the muzzle, 407 at 5 yards, and at 25 yards is 388. So it does deliver some energy transfer, and is a very, very fast round. I'll just leave it alone. I dropped it. Oops. But yeah, it is a very, very, very well made cartridge, and I definitely can see why people would choose that. As far as the 45 ACP, the 45 automatic hold pistol, I've also commonly heard it being called the 45 auto. But anyways, this is also a very accurate, reliable cartridge, and it does deliver the maximum stopping power, especially compared to the 40 and the 9mm. It's also very consistent, and it also has a high energy deposit. So this is overall, it's a very, very well made cartridge, but it is very, very expensive. For about a box of 50, you get it for about $28, almost $30 for a box of 50. And to be honest, when it comes to velocity, it's very slow, especially compared to the 9mm. As far as the velocity at the muzzle is about 880 feet per second. At 5 yards is 876, and at 25 yards is about 860, so it's significantly slower than the 9mm cartridge, but it does deliver some very well stopping power, or energy transferred, if you will. At the muzzle, it's about 395 pounds. At 5 yards, it's about 392, whereas at 25 yards, it's 378, which is, to be honest, pretty significantly more powerful, if you will, than the 9mm cartridge. But ultimately, it's up for debate. There's a reason why it's called the never-ending debate, because it depends on what you want out of this as well. If you like more bang for your buck, you know what I mean, go with the 9mm. If you don't care if price is not a factor, but you can handle a 45, go with the 45. If you are one of those that chooses the best of both worlds, if you will, stick with the 40 Smith & Wesson. Personally, and I'm gonna catch some stuff for this one, I prefer the 9mm round. It's more I like the velocity. I am very well when it comes to the recoil of the 9mm cartridges. I have way more training and familiarity with the 9mm cartridge. So personally, I will always default back to the 9mm cartridge, but that's not to say anything bad about the 40 or the 45 cartridge. Like I said, those are fantastic rounds as calibers as well. So and you know, ultimately it always goes back to training. I can't stress that enough. If you want to be accurate, you want to be and deliver a good consistent you know, target ratio, if you will, trying to hit like below 1 MOA or anything like that, just, you know, consistently go out to the range, train. It's going to cost, you know, a few $100s until you get consistent with that specific cartridge, but I highly recommend it, because after that you would be on point all the time. So with that being said, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you want to contact me, I'll put all my social media links down below. And as always, God bless you, and God bless America.